Hello, dear friends. We will see how to obtain an initial basic feasible solution to the transportation problem by Vogel's approximation method. It is popularly known as VAM. So we will go straight to the problem. Obtain an initial basic feasible solution to the transportation problem by Vogel's approximation method. So this is the cost data. They have given you the origin, O1, O2, O3, and the demand, destination centers 1, 2, 3, and 4, and the availability at the origins and the demand at the destinations are given to you. So this, what is given here, this is the cost matrix. What do you mean by cost matrix? If you want to transport 1 unit of goods from origin O1 to destination 1, the cost that the organization will incur will be 8 rupees. Similarly, from origin 1 to destination 2, if they want to transport 1 unit, it'll be 7 and so on. And then we have to see first step, as I told you earlier, first step is you have to check what is the objective. The objective here is minimization because we are trying to minimize the transportation cost. So the second step is the data balanced? How do you check whether the data is balanced? Find out what is the total of demand and find out what is the total of availability. So in this case, the total of demand is 31 and the total of availability is 31. 8 plus 12 plus 11, 31, 7 plus 8 plus 10 plus 6, 31. So we know the data is balanced. So we will see how to solve this particular problem. So first one, Vogel's approximation method. As I told you, first step is ask yourself, is the objective minimization? Answer is yes, it is, because the cost data is given to you and we are trying to minimize the total transportation cost. Coming to the second step, is the data balanced? Answer is yes, it is balanced because the total of demand is equal to the total of availability. So we can move on to the third step, that is finding out the initial basic feasible solution. So I have copied the matrix what is given to you. What is given in the question I have copied, and um, and then I have also included one additional columns here, penalty, row penalty and the column penalty. Now, how do we calculate the row penalty, column penalty? I will let you know now. So first one, in this particular row, in this first row, you have to find out which is the least cost. So the least cost in this particular row is 2. And the next least cost is 4. So the difference between these two is called the row penalty. I'll write it as 2 because 4 minus 2 is 2. Fine. Similarly, I will find out for the second row. This is the second row, 1 and 2. 1 is the least cost cell and the next least cost is 2. So the difference between the two is 1. And the third row, 3 is the least cost cell and the next least cost is 7. So it is 4. Similarly, you find out this is the column. In this particular column, which is the least cost, it is 2. The next least cost is 8. So the difference is 6. Similarly, which is the least cost here? 3. Next one is 7. Difference is 4. Which is the next least cost here? 1. And next is 4. Difference is 3. This is 2 and this is 3. Difference is 1. So we find out what is the row penalty and the column penalty. So how do you find the row penalty? In that particular row, you see which is the least cost and find out the next least cost and find the difference between the two. Similarly, if you want to find out the column penalty, you find out in that particular column which is the least cost cell and the next least cost cell and find the difference between the two, and that's called the column penalty. And how do you make the allocation now? The allocation will be made to the particular penalty which is the highest. So in this case, the um, highest one is 6 because here it's 2, 1, 4. Here 6, 4, 3 and 1. Therefore, highest is 6. So I make the selection. I select this particular penalty cost. So that means the allocation will be made to this particular column. This particular column, I will be making the allocation. So in this particular column, when I make the allocation, see which is the least cost cell in this particular column. So the least cost cell is 2. 2 is the least cost cell. So I will be transporting goods to this particular cell now. Do you understand? So what do I do? 7 is the demand, availability is 12, the lower of the two is 7. So this will become 0 and the availability will reduce to 5. Since the demand has become 0, that means this destination does not need any more goods. Therefore, this particular column, since it's become 0, you cancel out this particular column penalty because you need not calculate any more penalty cost for this particular column because no other allocation is required for this particular destination. So now I move on to the next step. What is the next step? Same procedure you have to continue. Now, what is the same step? So first, again, I'll calculate what is the difference in this particular row, which is the least cost cell. So 2 and then 4. So the difference is 2. And here it's 1 and 3. Difference is 2. 3 and 7. Difference is 4. Column 3 and this 4. 1 and 4, 3. 2 and 3, 1. Therefore, which is the highest penalty cost? Highest penalty cost, I have here 4 and I also have here 4. Now it is your choice. Any one arbitrary selection can be made. Therefore, I want to choose this particular 4. Okay, so I'm highlighting it with a box. And in this particular row, which is the least cost cell, it is 3. And 3, here I have to make the allocation. See what's the demand and what is the availability. The lower of the two is 6. So this will become 0 and this will become 5. Since this available demand has become 0, no more allocation is required. So this particular column is also out now. So we need not make any more allocation. Therefore, you can cancel out this particular column. Why? Because you know the available demand has become 0. Now again, calculate the row penalty. Row penalty here is 3. Here it is 2. Here it is 1. What about column penalty? 4 and 3. So which is the highest? Highest is 4. So I will select this. So in this particular row, in this particular column, which is the least cost cell is 3. So I will make the allocation here 5 or 8, whichever is lower is 5. So availability will get reduced to 0. Demand will get reduced to 3. Now, since this has become 0, cancel out this. That means no more allocation to this particular row because it is completely allocated. Availability has become 0. Okay, now what you do, again, you calculate what is the penalty cost. Penalty cost is 3 here, and here it is 1. Here it is 7 and 7, 0. And here 4 and 8, 4. Which is the highest? Highest is 4. Select this 4. So in this, which is the least cost? Least cost is 4. So I will make the allocation here. Availability is 8. The demand is 10. The lower of the two is 8. So this will become 0. This will become 2. So since this has become 0, cancel out this particular row completely. So this is also out. Okay, and no more calculation of penalty cost for this particular row because it is fully allotted. Now only what you're left is only this particular row. So you need not find any cost difference. The lower of the two is 7. So 7 means see the demand is 3, availability is 5. So you can allot 3. This will become 0 and this will become 2. And here you can make the allocation. 2 or 2, whichever is lower, it is 2 only. So this will become 0. This will also become 0. So what is your transportation cost now? So how do you find the transportation cost? It is 4 into 8 plus 2 into 7 plus 3 into 5 plus 7 into 3 plus 8 into 2 plus 3 into 6. So whatever you have allocated. So you have allocated 8 units here. So per unit it is 4. So 4 into 8, then 7 into 2 plus 5 into 3 plus 3 into 7 plus 2 into 8 plus 6 into 3. So that's how you calculate what is the transportation cost, and the transportation cost is 116. Now, the same question, I am making it unbalanced. So everything is the same and I'm making it unbalanced data. How do I make it unbalanced data? What is the total? What is the total? You have to check the total. Total is 7 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10 is 35. And this one total is 31. 8 plus 12 plus 11 is 31. That means availability is short, less availability and more demand. So you have to write here 4, only then 30, it will become 35 by 35. So to make the data balanced, you have to have a dummy origin, okay? And the availability of that particular origin should be 4. So I'm going to rewrite this particular table. So first one, again, objective is minimization. Whether data is balanced or unbalanced, you know the data is unbalanced. Then we go in for calculating initial basic feasible solution. So I have made a dummy row now. So in the dummy row, the availability is 4. Only then when you add 8 plus 12 plus 11 plus 4, you get 35. And here also 7 plus 8 plus 10 plus 10, you get 35. Therefore, it becomes a balanced data. So your first step is, when the data is unbalanced, you have to make it into balanced data by introducing a dummy row or a dummy column as required. So in this case, I had to introduce a dummy row. And what about the cost cells in this particular row? It will be taken as 0 because there is no transportation cost, because you're not actually transporting any goods. This is only a dummy row. Okay. Now, again, the same procedure. You have to calculate what is the penalty cost, row penalty and the column penalty. What is row penalty? The least cost cell and the next least cost cell. What is the difference? It's 2. Because 2, the next least cost is 4, the difference between the two. Here it's 1 and 2, the difference is 1. And here it is 3 and 7, the difference is 4. Here 0 is the difference, penalty cost. And here column penalty will be 0 and 2 is 2, 0 and 3 is 3, 0 and 1 is 1, 0 and 2 is 2. So here you have to choose the highest penalty cost. The highest penalty cost is 4. So that means you have to choose this particular row. In this particular row, which is the least cost cell? You have to see. The least cost cell is 3. So here you will make the allocation. How many units you will allocate? Demand or availability, whichever is lower, 10 or 11, whichever is lower. I allocate 10, so this will become 0. The availability will get reduced to 1. So cancel out this particular column because already the demand is met. So no more supply to this particular particular destination from other origins. So since this particular column demand has become 0, cancel out this particular column, saying that you need not calculate any penalty cost for this particular column henceforth. Now again, second step, again calculate the same in the same manner. Calculate what is the row penalty and the column penalty. Row penalty will be 4 is the least. The next least is 7. So 4 or 7, which you will find the difference between the two, you get 3. And here 1 and 2, 1 is the difference. and here it is 0. And here it is 7 and 8, 1. Now here it is 0 and 2. 0 and 2 is 2. 0 and 2 is 2. Here it is 0 and 3 is 3. 0 and 1 is 1. So I have calculated what is the column penalty and the row penalty. Take the highest penalty cost. Highest penalty cost in this case, I will be choosing 3 because I can choose this 3 or this 3 of your choice. I want to choose this 3. In this, what is the least cost cell? Least cost cell is 4. So I'll make the allocation here. 8 or 10, whichever is lower, 8 is lower. So this will become 0 and this will become 2. Since this has become 0, no more calculation of penalty cost for this particular row. And you cancel out this particular row completely. So this row is completely out. Again, calculate the next step. Row penalty and the column penalty. Difference is 1. Difference is again 1. Difference is 0. Here it is 0 and 2, 2. 0 and 3 is 3. 0 and 1 is 1. So which is the highest? Highest is 3. So select this 3 and see which is the least cost cell in this particular column. In this particular column, least cost cell is 0. Therefore, you make the allocation here. Availability is 4, demand is 8. So the lower of the two is 4. This will become 0 and this will become 4. Since it's already become 0, this particular row, you need not calculate penalty cost. Cancel out this particular row completely. So no more allocation to this particular row. Again, calculate what is the penalty cost. 2 and 1, 1. 1. Here it is 8. Here it is 4. Here it is 7. So which is the highest? Highest is 8. So put this in box. See which is the lower of the lower cell, a 2 or 10. 2 is the lower. So I give the allocation here. 7 is the demand. Availability is 12. The lower of the two is 7. So demand becomes 0. Availability will become 5. Okay. So now what happens? This particular column you have to cancel because it's already become 0. No need to calculate penalty column for penalty cost for this particular column henceforth. Again, calculate what is the row penalty. It is 2 and 1. What is the column penalty? It is 4 and 7. Which is the highest? Highest is 7. Select this. So lower cost is here. I'll make 5, not 5. Lower of 5 or 2, whichever is lower. So 2. So this will become 3 and this will become 0. Cancel out this and cancel out this particular column also because already allotted. This particular row is complete. Column is complete. Now you have only this particular column. In this particular column, which is the lower? Lower is 3. So you make the allocation here. 3 or 4, whichever is lower, 3 is lower. So demand will become 1 and availability will get reduced to 0. And here you will make the allocation 1. This will become 0. This will become 0. So this is how you will be making the allocation. So how do you calculate the transportation cost? It'll be 4 into 8 plus 2 into 7 plus 3 into 3 plus 1 into 2 plus 7 into 1 plus 3 into 10 plus 0 into 4. So we will make the find out what is the cost. It is 4 into 4 into 4 into 8 plus 2 into 7 plus 3 into 3 plus 1 into 2 plus 7 into 1 plus 3 into 10 plus 0 into 4. 4 into 8 plus 2 into 7 plus 3 into 3 plus 1 into 7 plus 7 into 1 plus 3 into 10 plus 0 into 4. Yes. So if you want to find out what is the total transportation cost, it is 94. 94 is the transportation cost. Now for the next problem. So the next problem, what I have done, I have increased the availability and the demand remains the same. So when the availability is increased, that means the total demand is only 31, availability is 38. So you need to introduce a dummy column and you should have your 7. Only then it will add up, it will become 38 and 38. So if I introduce a dummy column, how will the answer be? So we will see that. Yeah. So this is the problem. I have introduced a dummy column so that the total of my demand is equal to the total of my availability. Total of demand is equal to the total of availability, that is 38 and 38. This is 38. This is also 38. Now, what should I do to solve this? First we have to do the row penalty. How do you calculate the row penalty? In this particular row, see which is the least cost. Least cost is 0. The next least cost is 2. So the difference is 2. That's called the row penalty. Here 0 and 1. So difference is 1. Next 0 and 3. 3 is the row penalty. What about column penalty? Column penalty is 6. That is 2 and 8. The difference 3 and 7 means 4. 1 and 4, 3. 2 and 3, 1. 0 and 0, 0. So which is the highest penalty cost? Highest penalty cost is 6. So you will make the allocation to this particular column. Which is the least cost cell in this particular column? It is 2. So to this 2, you will make the allocation. 7 is the demand, availability is 12, whichever is lower, that is 7, 0, and this will become 5. Cancel out this particular column, and then you say that no more penalty cost for this particular column because the demand is already met. So this goes out. Again, calculate what is the penalty cost. 0 and 2 is 2, 0 and 1 is 1, 0 and 3 is 3. Calculate what is the column penalty. It's 4, 3, and 1. Which is the highest? Highest is 4. So in this particular column, see which is the least cost cell. It is 3. Make the allocation here. 8 and 5, whichever is lower, it's 5. So this will become 3. This will become 0. Since it has become 0, say that no more penalty cost for this particular row, because the demand is already met, and cancel out this particular row completely. So this row is completely out. You can't make any further allocation to this particular row. Again, calculate what is the penalty cost. What is the penalty cost? 0 and 2 is 2. 0 and 3 is 3. Column penalty 7 and 7 is 0. 4 and 1. Here it is 0. So which is the highest? Highest is 4. So make the allocation to this particular column. Which is the cell which has the lower value? It is 4. Therefore, allocation should be made here 10 or 15, whichever is lower. The lower one is 10. So this will become 5 and this will become 0. So cancel out this because no further allocation to this particular column can cancel this particular column also because it's already become 0. So color this. Now what you have to do again, you have to make the calculate what is the penalty cost. It is 0 or 2. It is 2 only. 0 and 3, 3. Here it is 0. Here it is 1 and here 0. Which is the highest? Highest is 3. So in this particular row, the least cost cell is 0. Allocate 7 or 11, whichever is lower, 7. So this becomes 0 and this becomes 6. Sorry, 5. It's 4. Okay, so this becomes 0 and this because this is the availability is 4. Cancel out this particular column. So this is out now because you can't make any more allocation. So here penalty cost you need not calculate for this particular column because it's already become 0. So 7 and 2 difference is 5. 3 and 4 difference is 4. And here it is 0. And here it is 1. The highest penalty cost is 5. So select this 5. So the lower cell is here. 6 or 5, whichever is lower. 5 is lower. So this will become 0 and this will become 1. Since this has become 0, cancel out this. So this is completely out. You can't make any more calculation, any more penalty cost, any more allocation to this. Now you're left with only these two cells. Therefore, which is lower? Lower is 3. So 1 or a 4, whichever is lower. The lower one is 1. So this will become 3 and this will become, sorry, this will become 0 and this will become 3. So next allocation is here 3. So this will become 0 and this will become 0. So what is the transportation cost now? It is 4 into 10 plus 2 into 5 plus 2 into 7 plus 3 into 5 plus 7 into 3 plus 3 into 1 plus 0 into 7 will give you the total transportation cost. So that is 4 into 10 plus 2 into 5 plus 2 into 7 plus 3 into 5 plus 7 into 3 plus 3 into 1 plus 0 into 7. So 4 into 10, 2 into 5, 2 into 7, 3 into 5, 7 into 3, 3 into 1 and 0 into 7. So what is the transportation cost? It is 103 is the transportation cost. I hope you have understood to calculate initial basic feasible solution under WAM. Thank you very much. Have a great day.